What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Hope you guys are having a great day today. As always, I'm having a great day here because we're taking a look at two products today. First up, we're looking at the Rockin frames. These are the 576 or 5 by 76 millimeter frames. Second product we'll be looking at today are the Iqon Axis wheels. These are the 76 wheels, or 76 millimeter. Both products were graciously provided for review to me. Thank you so much to both Rockin Frames and Royal Distribution and Iqon. Can't say enough. Thank you for supporting this channel and allowing me to just test out as many products as I possibly can get my hands on. So first up, let's talk about the frames. These are the Rockin frames. If you guys have not heard of the Rockin frames by now, you're probably living under a rock, no pun intended. But these frames are a new company called Rockin Frames. They are a UFS mount, so what that means is it's basically the mount that goes on all the aggressive boots. The cool thing about these is you get the frames and you can rock them with UFS, or you can rock them with a 165 mount boot. And to do that, you get these little 165 mount frame adapters right here. This is really cool to see just come with these frames. Big plus, because I know there's a lot of freestyle skaters that might want to try these frames out, or there's some frames on their lineup that you can't get anywhere else in a 165 mount, and they might want to try it out on their 165 mount boot. Well, there you go. All you do is slap that boy right there, and it comes with the longer, right here. There's actually longer bolts to actually get through there. So you're good to go if you want to rock these UFS mount or 165 mount. I believe these come in a 5x80 as well as a 5x90 even. I think that's a first in terms of the biggest rockered 5-wheel skate setup. I believe the Rockin frames also come in a 4x90, a 4x100, a 4x110. I think I'm forgetting a couple right now. I'll just put them on the screen here so you can just see all the different sizes of these. And the great thing is they're gonna fit pretty much any boot you got, unless you're rocking a power slide boot and you're on Trinity. Each frame actually comes in a certain color or black. So you can get a black version of it or the color for the size setup that you're getting in the frame. These do, just like the Wizard frames, have a slight forward lean built into them. Let's just check out the rocker real quick. It's really hard to tell when I'm, on this, because this is not perfectly flat. It flexes a little bit. So I think what's going on here is the center wheel is the lowest, obviously. The two wheels next to it are raised just a little bit, and the two far outside wheels are raised the most. So I don't know if I can balance it just on that center wheel. I'm rolling it just super subtle. You might be able to see me getting just that center wheel touching there. Even if I put a little bit of pressure here, all we're getting is these two wheels rolling, touching. And if I put my pressure right here, we're just getting these two wheels rolling. Then if I put my pressure up the front, there we go. Now we just got these two wheels rolling. And then same for the back. So gotta get that pressure down. Just these two wheels rolling, they're touching. Very similar to, I would say, probably the progressive rocker on the Wizard frames. Don't know the actual millimeter, the differences in these wheels. Rockin Frames reached out to me and he asked me, which frames I want to try. And out of the list, these really caught my eye because I really enjoy my Dragon frames. Those are the NN Dragons. They're a 5x80 millimeter frame. And I cannot get enough of just the maneuverability on those things and just the Wizard freestyle flatland skating feel. Those things are the most nimble but long, so you got that fore aft stability. They were just awesome. So I was like, you know what? I really would like to try out some smaller wheels. So, the frame length, I think, is a tad bit shorter. I think these are 308 millimeters long, which is a great wheelbase in my opinion. And then also, these are a little bit lower to the ground, being a 76 instead of an 80 millimeter wheel. So having that lower center of gravity, having a little bit shorter frame, but still very long with that rocker, I think it's gonna be really, really fun frame for doing that wizard skating stuff that I'm not that great at, but I have a ton of fun trying to do new moves at it. Just want to check the strength and the structure of these. These are really, really strong frames. So yeah, I think that's all I want to say about the frames. Let's check out the wheels. If you guys have not heard, Iqon is a new wheel frame skate, eventually bearings, clothing, you name it, they're gonna make it. I was lucky enough to get a set of their 76 Iqon Axis wheels. These wheels are an 85A. I skated their Eco wheels, which is an eco-friendly wheel. They were an 88A, and I kind of felt like they're a little soft and sticky, even for an 88A. I was like, wow, these feel like an 85 or less. So I'm hoping that these 85As aren't going to just be really, really soft. They have what they call round profile. I would probably call it more of a bullet profile, but I really like the design on them. I think they look really sweet. I love the whole kind of branding, digital like craziness that that Iqon brand has going for it. Little gold accents, whatnot. And I really like the kind of catchphrase that they have, which is augmented mobility. The last thing about these wheels I thought was really cool when I got them out of the box is the color of the urethane. And you probably won't pick up on camera great. Let's see if I can get some of this kind of dust and scuff off of here. But if you can see it on that camera there, there's some really cool, like almost like just like sparkle, like swirling sparkle inside here. It's really pretty stuff. Like it's a really pretty wheel when it's brand new. The only thing that I'm kind of worried about with that is to do that, I think they have to use a little bit of clear polyurethane. And, you know, I'm not a huge fan of clear stuff because clear stuff, it just usually doesn't hold up as well. But, you know, I don't know that yet. We'll ride these and see how well they hold up. This bag that these wheels come in, super sweet. Like, nice thick pull string bag, drawstring bag. Again, big sucker for packaging. It lists out all the sizes that these wheels come in. That's the other cool thing about Iqon. Their wheels, they come in everything from a 55 all the way up to 125 millimeter. So, you know, when you're trying to do those like mixed high-low rocker aggressive setups, you can have the same wheel across the board. So yeah, really excited to throw these guys back on this frame, get these frames on some skates, and let's just go see how these products perform. Let's roll. All right, so what do I think about these frames and wheels? Well, let's starting with the frame pros. So for that first pro, these frames have a really solid design and build quality to them. There's really no flexing or bending. They're made out of that 6061 T6 aluminum, like all metal frames pretty much. And they're thick enough. They just really have this nice, solid feel about them. And I really feel that helps in power transfer and wizard moves when you're kind of trying to like whip stuff around and stuff. There's no flexing to these frames. So for that second pro, they have a really low ride height. I really wanted to get on these because of that low ride height and that smaller wheel. That 76 millimeter really brings you down quite a bit from that 80 millimeter wheel. And I think it's kind of the sweet spot in terms of having a 76 millimeter by 5 wheels, because that ride height is so low, as well as coupling it with the UFS frame mount, just really gets you almost feeling like you're on an aggressive frame, kind of like a wish frame or something. But yeah, that low ride height is just a huge plus for these, especially when you're doing that flatland wizard freestyle skating stuff. So for the next pro, it's the rocker. It's just super fun. It's very extreme. The rocker is, I would equate it to pretty much like a banana setup. It's just really like, you can spin these things around on a dime. But because they're 5-wheel, that extended length still has that stability, so that crazy maneuverability isn't crazy maneuverable without having a little bit of that stability when you need it. These are hands down the most agile frame I own and have been on to date. So the next pro, that 308 millimeter frame length, I think is kind of the sweet spot, at least for doing your wizard skating and flatland moves, because, for instance, my longer Dragon 5-wheel frame that was my favorite wizard flatland skating frame for a while. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it's like a 330, 320 range millimeter. Shaving off those millimeters, but still having that enough. It's long enough for the stability, but it's not too long where when you're doing those wizard moves and those like kind of crossover like spins and whatnot, you're not getting caught up when you're not paying attention on it. This 5x76 308 millimeter frame length is just that perfect sweet spot, I think, with having that stability, but still giving you the agileness in nature to do those crossovers and whatnot. I think this frame length is perfect. So for the next pro, it's got to be the fact that these frames come with a 165 millimeter mount adapter piece, as well as extra long bolts for that setup. So basically, if you're picking up these frames, any of the Rockin frames, you can skate them how they're meant to be skated on a UFS boot, or say you have a big wheel 165 mount boot that you want to go skating on with and try them out with, you can move them over to there. That's a lot of skates on the market that you can put these on. And the last pro for these frames, I had to throw it in here. I thought it was pretty cool. These are the first and only, I think to this date, colored frame for big wheel skaters. I know there's a lot of colored and customization frames in the aggressive world, and that's been a thing for a long time, just because aggressive skating is really about your personality and customizing your skate, and it's about style, and it's about just making your skate your own. I really like how they took this next step. They could have made these, bare aluminum and a black, model of these frames for each size, but they took the next step and they're like, hey, you know what? Let's just have fun and differentiate these and have different colors for all the different sizes. Yes, some of you might say, man, it kind of sucks because the one I wanted, isn't in the right color for the size frame or size wheels. I get that, but I think it's going in the right direction. I really like having color under my feet, or the ability to customize a big wheel skate with some color. I think having color options on these frames is just a plus. All right, so let's check out the frame cons. So the first one, kind of have to asterisk this. These frames are pre-production demo models for me. The creator said these weren't going to be perfect, so I'm hoping that this first con that I'm going to mention falls under that. So the ones that you guys will be getting shouldn't have these issues in the future. But that first con, unfortunately, the UFS standoffs that are on the sole plates on most aggressive boots did not match the standoffs or like the inset parts in these frames. So when I went to go put these on my M12 frames, slid them up, and it was just too tight. It was maybe like a millimeter off, and that you could not slide them in those standoffs to make a nice, snug, secure fit. They wouldn't sit flat on the sole plate. So I actually had to go and Dremel off a little bit of the front and backs of those standoffs on my skate. But just know that if you have M12s, you might have to take a Dremel and shave off the front and back of those standoffs at UFS to make them actually fit your skate. So the second con, a 76 millimeter wheel by 5 that's rockered really is a slow frame. And the reason why, I mean, yes, they're smaller than 80 millimeter wheels already. Okay, but the fact that they're rockered, so you're really only ever rolling on like 2 wheels or so at any given time. Rolling on 2 76 millimeter wheels is terribly slow for big wheel skating. I wouldn't recommend getting these if you know these are your only frames and you want to do wizard skating, but you want to take these on long distance skates a lot. These are really a wizard frame. The next con is the fact that these are squirrely, and squirrely under not that much speed even, because they have that kind of banana progressive rocker to them. You know, when you're going down hills and you're on 2 wheels, you feel like you're just going to kind of take off sideways at any given time. Yes, you can do it totally fine, but it's not just kind of a lay back and let them ride kind of feeling. It's, you got to kind of stay on top of it because they could kind of take off sideways on you. Again, another reason why I say these are amazing on the flatland wizard, but maybe a little too aggressive rocker for the big wheel, go explore your city kind of a frame. And the last con for these frames, and you guys probably guessed it, they are 76 millimeter wheels and rockered, like I've been saying. So when you're rolling around in the city, you're gonna feel everything. These are pretty small wheels. It almost felt to me like I was rolling around on a set of aggressive frames because the wheels were so small and I was only really rolling on 2 or 3 wheels at a time. They were bumpy. It was not a smooth ride. So again, goes back to my argument that these are really a specialized tool for the wizard skater, wizard or free style skater. All right, so let's look at the wheel pros. So for the first pro on these wheels, I think they look awesome. I know this is subjective, but just that sparkly, like swirly design in the polyurethane mixed with the just design that's stamped on the side, I think they're great looking wheels. So the second pro, the performance. I was really impressed with, for a single pour wheel, just the performance out of them. They have pretty good rebound and the grip, but not too much grip on them. They just felt right. They felt good to skate in. And the last pro, these wheels come in every single size you can imagine. So whether you're getting them for aggressive skates all the way up to 125 millimeter, just go the distance skates, they got you covered with these wheels. So the only real con I would say with these wheels is the fact that I'm not sure about the lifespan on these. After about 3 hour-long sessions, I started seeing some pretty severe wheel rash on them. Basically just kind of a stippling and tearing of like the wheel and kind of almost like texturizing, where it seems like they're getting shredded a little bit fast, as well as they were starting to show wedges a lot quicker than most of my other wheels. Was worried about that a little bit just because of the color of the wheel as well as the sparkle. So I'm wondering if there's some kind of like clear polyurethane in there. You know, my black wheels do this a lot. Any white wheel, I pretty much never have this issue with. They all kind of wear in a way that doesn't look like it gets all rashed. It's just nice and smooth in a way, like sanded. But these showed quite a bit of wear pretty quick. All right, so who are these frames for? You probably guessed it already with the cons. These frames are for any skater that just wants a amazing tool to unlock their wizard skating as well as freestyle skating on flat land surfaces. I think these are top notch. Like, you can't beat these guys. These are an amazing tool for that style of skating. So who are these wheels for? I'd go ahead and say that they're for any urban, aggressive skater that just wants a wheel that performs well all around and needs to have a wheel that is in almost any size. I think a cool thing about this is if you say you have a aggressive skate setup and an urban skate setup, you can have the same wheels across both of them and kind of have that same feeling, polyurethane feeling, because they are the same wheel. On top of that, if you have, say, a high-low rocker aggressive frame, which a lot of those are coming out right now, you can have all of the same polyurethane under your foot. You don't have to mix and match wheels to get that flat rocker setup on a high-low rocker frame. All right, so who are these frames not for? Well, they're not for the skater that's looking to go long distance skating and going exploring their city or suburb. There are many other frames that are going to do this way better, including your stock 80mm flat frames. It's just going to be a much more enjoyable experience with smoothness, speed, stability. Yeah. And who they're not for? I would say they are not for the skater looking for some super high performance wheels, like something that's like a dual poured urethane or that kind of thing. You know, basically speed skaters that need every ounce of performance squeezed out of their wheels. These just aren't them. All right, so my final thoughts. First up, for the frames, I would say these frames have to be one of my top picks for wizard skating tools. These things just perform amazing. They make wizard skating tricks so achievable by noobs like me. I was starting to perform some new tricks that I've never been able to do before or that well with these frames. I mean, the wheel size, the frame length, and the extreme rocker on these all kind of come together to form that perfect harmony of an amazing flatland frame. That's it. But the praises end when you get off that flatland wizard skating, freestyle skating area. Because when you want to take these either to that area or home, or you want to go on a longer skate, these just really aren't for that. I mean, like I said, that smaller wheel with that rocker really destroys your speed, your stability, the smoothness of the roll, just everything. These just really are not for that, because I feel like they're so catered to that flatland wizard skating that it takes away a lot from just being average everyday frames. So in the end, if you're looking for that wizard freestyle skating frame, that tool for that kind of skating, and only for that kind of skating, these are amazing. Go buy them now, because you will have so much fun on them. Just don't expect to have an amazing time skating to and from that spot, because, you know, they're not made for that. All right, so the final thoughts on the wheels. I have to say, these are a pretty good wheel. They performed really well. I had a good time on them. They weren't too grippy. They weren't too slippery. They just felt like an all-around solid wheel to roll on. It was a good experience. The only downside to them was the fact that I did see that wheel rash and that wear that was quite a bit quicker than most of my other wheels that I've rolled on. It's not like I was sliding like crazy on these. I was doing basically the same amount of stuff that I do on all of my wheels, and they just wore out really quick. So that just leads me to worry a little bit on the longevity of the wheel's lifespan. So you may have noticed I didn't give any ratings to these frames or wheels this time, because I'm actually not doing ratings anymore. I feel like it's way too subjective. I didn't really even know where I was holding products to on a scale. And it started getting to a point where it's like, well, do I put this over this because of this or that? Like, it was just my personal opinions that really didn't make any sense. I thought at first when I started doing this that it, made a lot of sense to see a rating and be like, okay, that's good enough, I'm gonna go buy it, kind of thing. But really, I think what you guys get out of this is just my personal experiences and the details of what I think about the wheels, rather than slapping a number on these skates and saying if they're good or not. Let me know in the comments below if you agree with that decision of mine to stop doing ratings for products and just give you my personal feedback and opinions on what I think about the products. I just personally don't think products need ratings. In the end, if you guys have any questions or comments about these frames or wheels, hit me up in the comments below. I am always happy to respond to as many of you as I possibly can. I know I can't touch on every single little aspect in all these videos, so the comments are there for a reason. Use them. If you guys enjoyed this video, you guys know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, and make sure you ring that bell so you miss any of these episodes. And until next time, guys, just keep rolling.